Welcome to the Business Leadership Series, where we engage with leaders who are making an impact on their worlds and who want to share their knowledge and experience for your personal and professional growth. The following interview is designed to inspire you to become the best leader you can be. Your host, Derek Champagne, is the founder and CEO of The Artist Evolution, a full-service agency building successful brands, marketing tools, and campaigns, and also the author of the best-selling book, Don't Buy a Duck. And now, let's begin today's Leadership Series interview.
Welcome to the Business Leadership Series, where our goal is to inspire you to become the best leader that you can be. I'm excited about our guest today. I had the chance to see him in Anaheim a few months ago at the Scale Up Conference, David Meerman Scott. David, thank you for being with us today.
Hey, it's great to be here, Derek. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so impressed with you. I got to see you for the first time a few months ago, but you are an internationally acclaimed business growth strategist, entrepreneur, advisor to emerging companies, a public speaker, author of 10 previous books, including New Rules of Marketing and PR in its 6th edition in 29 languages, and Marketing Lessons from the Grateful Dead. What I thought was super cool is that you travel around the world to surf and hear great live music as well. So your new book, Fanocrocy, I've got in my hands here, turning fans into customers and customers into fans, that you co-wrote with your daughter, which is really cool. If you don't mind taking a few minutes, just let us get some insight into you as a person, just a little bit of highlights about you.
Yeah, sure, of course. So I started my career on a bond trading desk. I hated it and I was terrible at it, but I really liked the information that bond traders used. So I spent 15 years in the global financial information business working for companies like Dow Jones and Reuters. And then in 2002, I went out on my own. And since then, I've done about 30 or 40 paid speaking gigs around the world every year. And as you mentioned, I've written now 11 books. My most recent one, as you mentioned, is called Fanocrocy, turning fans into customers and customers into fans. And as you said, I wrote that with my daughter, Reiko, because what we were just so passionate about, the things that we love. I love live music, especially the Grateful Dead. I've been to 790 live shows, including 75 Grateful Dead concerts. And my daughter Reiko is really into Harry Potter. She's read every book multiple times, seen every movie multiple times, gone to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter theme park in Orlando several times. And she wrote an 85,000-word alternative ending to the Harry Potter series where Draco Malfoy is a spy for the Order of the Phoenix, and put that on a fan fiction site that's been downloaded thousands and thousands of times. So we were so passionate about the things we love, we decided to test our thesis that any organization can grow by building fans, and that's exactly what we found. And we wrote a book about how anybody can create fans.
I love the concept. Give us some more broad strokes about this topic. Like, what are you seeing? What are some brands that you see doing it well? Can you give us some broad examples so our listeners can kind of connect more quickly to the concept?
Yeah, absolutely. But first of all, working with my daughter has been great because she's 26 years old. She's a 26-year-old millennial woman. She happens to be mixed race because my wife is Japanese, so she was born in Tokyo. And I'm a 50-something white guy, so so it was cool to write with her because we're so different. And what we really dug into is the neuroscience around the idea of fandom. And my daughter Reiko graduated with a neuroscience degree from Columbia University. So we interviewed a number of different neuroscientists. And it turns out that we humans are hardwired to have a deep-seated need in our deep unconscious to want to be part of a tribe of like-minded people. So when I'm at a Grateful Dead concert, I'm with my tribe. When Reiko is with fans of Harry Potter, she's with her tribe. And that's a really important concept when it comes to fandom, is that what you're really doing as an entrepreneur to build fans of your business is you're creating a tribe of people who are like-minded, who then are eager to want to do business with you because they want to be part of the tribe you've created. An example of that And I love talking about examples in surprising businesses because people get the idea of fandom, Derek, when you're talking about, say, a sports team or Harry Potter or the Grateful Dead. But how about this? Do you love your auto insurance?
Not particularly.
Not particularly. I've asked that question of thousands of people. Nobody says they are. And there's a company called Hagerty Insurance. They do classic car auto insurance. And I was speaking with McKeel Hagerty, who's the entrepreneurial CEO of Hagerty Insurance. He told me, David, everyone hates my business. Everybody hates auto insurance. So I had to do something different. I couldn't just be the low-cost provider or advertise by spending more money than other people because I can't outspend the geckos. So what he said is, I just decided to double down on the idea of growing fans of my business. So what he does is he goes to, he and his team now, he's a huge team, go to hundreds of classic car events a year in North America where they're meeting with people. They're part of the tribe of classic car lovers. They have a YouTube channel with something like 1 million subscribers. They have a drivers club where there's a virtual community where one member of the drivers club can meet other members of the Drivers Club, 600,000 members of this Drivers Club. And they are now the largest classic car insurance company in the world. They're going to grow by they have grown by double-digit compound growth every single year since McKeel Hagerty founded the company. And they'll grow by 200,000 new customers this year. So Hagerty Insurance created a massive fandom around a product category that everybody hates. And I'm actually, the reason I found out about them is because I'm a customer. I own a 1973 Land Rover Series 3. Hagerty has been insuring it for 15 years, and I love them. I can't wait to, re-up my annual agreement with them to insure my Land Rover because they do such a fabulous job.
So that's a great example because who thinks insurance is exciting? But is it about creating fans first and then turning fans into customers? Because the example you're sharing, they went and found fans of not necessarily the category, but of the end, the vehicle. So what does that look like if someone goes, I don't even know if I have fans. I'm so focused on matrix and numbers and conversions, and what's the step before that?
Yeah, so it's actually a very perceptive of you to probe here, because the subtitle we chose for the book after, by the way, 6 months of going back and forth I think we looked at like hundreds of different subtitles and titles for this book. But anyway, turning fans into customers and customers into fans is our subtitle, because we recognized the nature of your question here. We recognized early on in our writing that in some cases you can tap into something that people are already a fan of. So in this case, what Hagerty did so brilliantly well is they recognized that people who love classic cars are already fans of classic cars, and they just had to tap into that fandom by becoming a participant in the events and the organization and tapping the culture of classic car lovers so that they're seen as a viable member of that community. And in fact, now they're a massive leader in that community because they have so many people who have become their customers. So they've turned fans into customers. The flip side of that is turning your customers into your fans. And that's something that's entirely possible. Lots of different ways and prescriptions to do that. And what's really cool about this is it's this idea of creating a genuine and true human connection with your customers. And so I mentioned just a moment ago this idea of being a part of a tribe. We spoke with one neuroscientist, a bunch of neuroscientists, as I mentioned, but one neuroscientist in particular, his name is Edward T. Hall, identified different levels of how close people are to one another, and actually created names for each one. So further than about 12 feet away is called public space. And our brains don't track people who are in our public space. We know they're there. So you're conscious that there's somebody who's 12 feet or further away from you, but we don't actively track in our subconscious those people. But once people get within about 12 feet to about 4 feet, that's called social space, our brains begin to track those people because we need to know, is this person part of my tribe and therefore I'm safe? Or is this person a potential enemy and I'm vulnerable and I may need to fight or flight? That's what our ancient brain is telling us. And then inside of 4 feet is the most powerful. That's called personal space. That's cocktail party distance. When you walk into a room and you know the people in the room, you feel comfortable and safe. That's a very positive emotional connection you have with those people. But when you get into a crowded elevator and you don't know those people, you can't help but feel a little bit nervous because your ancient brain tells you, I don't know these people, I might be in danger. Even though intellectually you understand that you're just in an elevator, your ancient brain kicks in and says, danger, danger, danger. So here's what this means for us in our business. Can you figure out ways to bring existing and potential customers together, to meet with you, to meet with your staff, for customers to meet with other customers? So one fabulous way to do this is to hold a customer meeting or a customer event, sort of a trade show style, or if you have a choice between meeting somebody for lunch or having a phone call, try to meet them. These are really important ways to reach people. But sometimes people say to me, but David, that sounds great. I can't do that because I either run a virtual business or I run a global business or my customers are scattered all over. I can't do that. So there's another cool concept around neuroscience called mirror neurons. Those are the parts of our brain that fire when we hear or see somebody do something, and our brain fires as if we're doing it ourselves. So I want to demonstrate, Derek. I'm going to demonstrate by taking a bite of a lemon. Wow. And when I take that bite of that lemon, wow, it's really tart. It makes my eyes close. My eyes sort of start to water a little bit. My saliva glands are doing their thing. My mouth puckers up. I mean, it's a really powerful thing to bite into a lemon. And I would guess, Derek, that you and every single other person who's listening in may have felt a little bit of lemon on your tongue as well.
Oh, yes. Very strong.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So that's the concept of mirror neurons. Now, here's how that's important to grow fans. You can use video and photographs of people within your personal space that's within about 4 feet away, cocktail party distance. And those videos and photographs can be a very powerful trigger in the brains of the people who see those videos and photos, that they believe through mirror neurons that they are actually close to you physically. Intellectually, they know you're not. They know it's a photo or a video, but their ancient brain tells them they're actually quite close to you. That's exactly why you and I feel as though we know a movie star. We don't know them. We intellectually, we know that they're just an image on a screen, but our brains tell us we know them because of mirror neurons. We think we're in the same personal space as those movie stars. So can you create a YouTube channel where you're talking to the camera, close cropped, looking directly at the camera? Can you use photographs on your website, in your social media? The humble selfie. Our arm is about 4 feet long or a little bit less, and therefore a selfie when you're looking at the camera, very powerful way to build fans.
I'm really enjoying this. Thank you so much. I really covet your time today. We've got a couple minutes left, and you're sharing so much great information. A couple more questions for you about some concepts from the book. One is, while we're talking about that, tell me, you have a chapter of the book or section that talks about being smart about influencers. I think that's a nice segue to talk about that for just a minute, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, absolutely. Of course. So this idea of influencers has become extremely popular because social media has taken off. You know, a typical influencer is somebody like Kim Kardashian, and companies pay people like that, so-called social media influencers. And we looked at that. And, you know, it's really hard to make a go of just spending money to have somebody talk about your product on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or something. What really works, however, is to understand who are the people who truly love what you're doing? Who are the people who are passionate fans of you, of your business, of your ideas, of your products or your services? And how can you get those people to talk authentically about the things that they do? How can you celebrate the love that they have of your products? And that's a fabulous way to grow more customers, because people recognize that when somebody is clearly a fan of something and they're eager to share, that's really, really powerful stuff. So figure out, as an entrepreneur, you should be trying to figure out who are your fans, and how can you figure out ways to celebrate their fandom to other people, and that will draw others into your tribe of fans.
Yeah, such great advice. I want to take just another minute, but I want to give you a chance. Any other highlights you want to share about the book in this last minute that we have, and what listeners can expect when they pick up this book? What is the goal of this book for them?
The goal of the book is really to show that, number one, when we have passions, we share those passions with the world. The passion is infectious. So the idea of doing the things you love, for me, going to live music, fabulous. The second idea is that any business, everyone listening in onto this right now, your business can grow fans. And we have a prescription for doing so. And we found examples of fandom of all kinds of different companies. For example, it's surprising to us that we found an example of a government agency, a U.S. government agency that has 50 million fans. You can be walking down the street of any city in the world and see fans of this particular U.S. government agency because they're wearing the logo on a T-shirt or a hat, and it's NASA.
Yeah.
So if a U.S. government agency or an insurance company can grow fans, it's not just for Grateful Dead and Harry Potter anymore. It's for everybody, and it's even for your business.
Thanks for sharing that, too. And you led me to one last segue that I'm just personally curious about, and then we'll give a plug for where to find the book. But you mentioned NASA, but is it I have the memory correct that you have the largest Apollo private collection, or you have a large Apollo collection? Tell me about that for just a minute.
I do. I'm a huge geek about the Apollo lunar program. And I wrote a book about the Apollo lunar program. It was turned into a PBS American Experience miniseries called Chasing the Moon that premiered in July of 2019. And I have one of the best private collections of artifacts from the Apollo lunar program. I own the rotational control handle that was used to control Apollo 12. I have a checklist that was used on the surface of the moon in Apollo 17. I have a lunar module descent engine. I have an Apollo guidance computer. I mean, I've got a really important collection, and so important that NASA sometimes asks to borrow my artifacts.
I had to mention that. We had to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing that's really interesting, Derek. The fact that you're interested in my passion, that's true of all of us.
Right.
Whatever we're passionate about, that passion is infectious. Whether you're a fan of a sports team, or you love to skateboard, or you love to go fishing, or whatever it might be, there are people who have that, who are interested in that passion that you have. So many business people stick to, here's my business and here's my personal life, and they never mix. I strongly believe that, like we've just done for the past 15 minutes or so, sharing the idea of what you're passionate about helps with your business.
Yeah, such a great example. I can't think of anyone better to share it. You're a super fan in these categories. It's contagious. What a great way to turn fans into customers and customers into fans, and then share it. What a great organic and fun way to do that, and not siloing off just the structured business side and moving our personal lives siloed as well. I love the way you do that. It's inspiring. I'm excited that you got to work with your daughter. I've got a 10-year-old daughter. I can't imagine how fun it will be in a few years to do a project with her. So congratulations. You personally must be very proud on that.
It's great. My daughter's 26 now. When we embarked on this project, she was 21 years old, just recently graduated from university. And it's been a fabulous 5-year adventure, and it's still going on, and it's brought us very close together. We started off in a hierarchical relationship. I was the dad, she was the daughter. I was paying her college expenses. She was living under my roof, and now she's out on her own. She's paying all her expenses, and we're co-authors. So we actually transformed to being a true equal partners. So it's been pretty amazing.
Man, again, thank you so much, David Meerman Scott. David, where can we find your book?
So we've got a great website at www.fanocrocy.com. There's videos and examples on there. There's some PDFs you can download, all of it free. On the social networks, I'm DM Scott, DMSCOTT. I'm mainly on Twitter, but you can also find me on Instagram and LinkedIn and other places. And the book is just out, January 2020, so it's available in bookstores, online, all over the world. And my daughter and I read the audiobook version, so if that's your thing, many podcasters like audiobooks. People who listen to podcasts like audiobooks. So that's another option as well.
Awesome. David, thank you again for being our guest. We'll put the link in show notes, and I just appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing the next great things that you're doing.
My pleasure. Thanks, Derek. I really appreciate having me.
You've been listening to the Business Leadership Series, where we engage with leaders who are making an impact on their worlds and who want to share their knowledge and experience for your personal and professional growth. This interview was designed to inspire you to become the best leader you can be.